Hi, I'm Qiqi Drew. I'm a singer, actress, a mom, and a Beyond Type 1 Leadership Committee member. Also, fun fact about me, I've got the chance to work with some pretty legendary people, such as Missy Elliott, L.A. Reid, and I even got a chance to make it onto the American Idol Hollywood stage. All pretty cool stuff, right? But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. Today, I'm here to ask you a question. How are you? No, really? How are you? Because all month long, we're talking mental health here at Beyond Type 1. And I want to share my story with you. No, really, how are you is the tagline that we're using. And Beyond Type 1 and mental health leaders in our community are using this tagline as a way to tap into this idea that no one really knows how to properly answer that question, how are you? I think we're all pre-programmed to say, I'm fine, I'm good. But as someone who lives with type 1, and if you do too, we know that's not always the case. And I'm here to remind you that it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to answer I'm fine or I'm good. And above all else, you are not alone. Keeping your mental health is a key piece in managing type 1 and type 2 diabetes. And with that being said, because Mental Health Awareness Month is right now, the month of May, myself and leaders in the diabetes online community, and some of you out there, are partnering with Beyond Type 1 to share real personal stories about mental health topics. And I'm sharing my experience with diabulimia and how I overcame it. If you've never heard of the term diabulimia, well, if you looked it up on Wikipedia, there is a medical professional term, which is EDDMT1. It stands for Eating Disorder, Diabetes Mellitus Type 1. But they should put type 2 right next to that because people with type 2 also struggle with this disorder. It is associated with people who have diabetes who omit insulin to lose weight. But insulin, its main goal is to help the food that we eat that gets converted to glucose travel into our cells so that we're able to use it for energy. And if we don't have that insulin to help transport that glucose into our cells, the glucose just stays trapped in our blood and it wreaks havoc on our entire system. Now, I struggled with diabulimia for over 10 years. And when I think back on that time, I can't believe that I did that. And I did it for so long. And I also thought that I would never get out of it. I was so stuck on this merry-go-round. It was a circle, a vicious cycle of waking up in the morning. First thing I did was get on the scale, look at the number, and ask myself, should I take a little insulin today? Or should I push this a little further and see if I can lose another 2 pounds? And the next day, could I lose another 2 pounds? And I'd weigh myself throughout the day. I was actually losing more water and muscle weight than anything. And I made myself so sick. I was in DKA a number of times, and the doctors never knew what was going on. They thought that I was being what they call non-compliant and eating whatever I wanted and taking my insulin sometimes, but not really carb counting. But that wasn't the case. It was something much deeper. And it was my eating disorder that kept me from managing my diabetes. I had nights where I would wake up in the middle of the night and I'd binge on things I wasn't supposed to eat. Just because I had this, I think everybody sometimes, maybe some diabetics out there, right? Maybe you can relate as to someone telling you you can't eat this, and so then you want it even more. Or you have that family member who's policing everything you're putting in your mouth. Like, what did you put? What is that? Should you be eating that? And you're just like, so you won't eat it around them. But when no one's looking, you take out a piece of pie. And not even saying that as a diabetic, you can't have a piece of pie, but when you're trying to hide from people policing the food you put in your mouth, sometimes you won't just eat one piece of pie because you refrained from it for so long. So you take it out the fridge and you eat the whole pie. And it's horrible, and you feel horrible. You feel so shameful after you've done it. And then I take a bunch of insulin, and then the next day I'm like, I'm not taking any insulin. I'm not checking my blood sugar, and I'm gonna go to the gym and work this off. I was in a girl group, so we danced for 8 hours a day. So I'm like, I'm just gonna dance this off, and I'm not gonna take any insulin, and I'll, still lose some weight. It was such a dark time, on a time in my life that should have been filled with joy. And it was such an exciting time. I got the chance to do everything that I dreamed of. And no one knew that deep down inside, I had this ugly secret. And you know what it feels like to hold on to a secret, right? You can't tell, and then it festers, especially if it's something that you're like, I should say something, because it'll set you free. It feels lonely and isolated and dark, until one day I shared the secret. I told one person, and that was the beginning of being set free from this thought pattern and this behavior. And I told that one person, and that person loved me and held me accountable, but not by shaming me or wagging a finger, but by reminding me that I am enough just as I am. And they wanted me to be here, and they wanted me to be alive. And I want you to be here. I want you to be alive. If any of you are struggling with this, I promise you can get out. I've been there. Feel free to reach out to me. My handle is Qiqi Drew. I also have another diabetes handle, Diabetic Wellness Culture. And I encourage you to use the hashtag #KnowReallyHowAreYou on your posts. Make sure to stay tuned in to Beyond Type 1 social media channels all month long for new relatable personal stories and reliable resources related to mental health.